Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cindy. Today I have 5 tips for you, 5 self-care tips for you. Start it over. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cindy. Today I have for you 5 tips, 5 self-care tips that does not require any money. Self-care has become a trend nowadays, and that trend is just buying stuff, buying yourself everything, just overconsumption. Which is that really self-caring? Is that really caring? Is that really self-care? And it's not at all. It's really not. Especially if you're like poor, if you're like broke like me. I guess you can take care of yourself. You can't care for yourself because you don't have money to buy all these things. You know, it's cute sometimes to just, take some time, buy like some really nice, I guess, some skincare stuff and just do that and take a break. But doesn't that really self-care? Because you buy these things, like, you're happy now, but are you gonna be happy when you stop using them? You know what I mean? Anyways, let me give you some tips that are actually caring, that actually you will actually love. And the first one we're going to start with is self-compassion. Having compassion for yourself. Understand that you deserve love just as much as everyone else. Okay, you may have done some things in your life, you may have made some choices that now you probably regret, and you look back and you just like disgusted with yourself. Does not make you not deserving of love, does not make you not. So be compassionate towards yourself. Sometimes we are more compassionate towards others than ourselves. You know, there's this saying people say all the time, you can't love other people if you don't love yourself. I honestly don't agree with that all the time. I do think sometimes we can love other people but not love ourselves the same amount of times. We could also care for other people but not do the same for ourselves. You know what I mean? For example, it's nothing to do with like loving yourself or not, but like me, for example, someone who cooks all the time, and I love cooking, but I love cooking for other people, not so much for myself. That doesn't mean I don't love myself, but that's just what I love to do. I find joy in doing that. Like if I cook and I'm plating your food, I put all my love into that plate. I make sure it's nice. I like plate it really nice. I put it on the table for you, give you napkin, everything. But when it comes to myself, I'll probably just eat it off of the pot. I don't do that for myself. Does that mean I don't love myself? Not necessarily. But having compassion for yourself, the same you would have for somebody else. Understanding that you are young. If you're 37 and still stupid, you can still have compassion for yourself. But I can't say like you're 37 and still making the same mistake a 17-year-old would make or 22-year-old would make. Can't say that you are young. You're like really grown. You should really know better. But hey, have compassion for yourself. You were younger. Your younger self did not know any better. So have some compassion for yourself. Allow yourself to love and be loved. Okay, there are people out there that wants to love you, that wants to, I'm just kidding, I don't know. but I'm sure. Let people love you. Allow people in. Let people hear you and listen to you. So that was my first one. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is acknowledging your worth. If you're moving around and not thinking highly of yourself, you're self-deprecating and just thinking that you're not worthy, I don't know how. You could buy all the things in the world, it still wouldn't be self-care. You still wouldn't care for yourself. You have to at first know who you are, that you're worthy. A man literally died on the cross for you, suffered painful death for you, and you still think you're not worthy. Finding your worth and understanding that you're worthy is actually self-care, because there are people, not even there are people, I used to not think that I was worth much, but but that's just sometimes when you're young and around different people and social media will let you know that you're not worthy. You don't have this, you don't have that, you're not worthy. You are the scum of the earth, according to social media, if you don't have certain things. But like understanding your worth, knowing that you're worthy. You are worthy, okay? You are worthy. Ask Jesus. But understanding that, because if you're going around life thinking that you're not worth it, people are gonna think the same. And I know they say that all the time. It sounds cliche, but you really teach people how to treat you. Okay, so if you're not holding yourself high, you're not talking highly of yourself, not bragging, boasting, and doing all that, but like, not like, I'm so dumb, I'm sure. No, if you're doing that around people, that's probably what they're gonna do around you. They're gonna, when they're talking about you, they're gonna say the same thing. She's so dumb, she's so stupid. So remember that. Know your worth, so that others could know your worth as well. Because if you don't know your worth, people are not gonna know it either. Okay, so yeah. Now let's move on to the third one. And the third one is vulnerability. This is something I personally struggle with. I have a hard time opening to people, but understand that love requires openness. You have to be able to open up to people so people could also open up to you. Be vulnerable. Allow people to compliment you. Take it. Don't brush it off. Accept it. So, to be really loved, to love other people, there has to be openness, because you can't love me if I'm like so close. You don't know my heart enough. You really can't love me enough. So you have to allow people to love you. You have to open up a little, trust people a little, and let people trust you as well. Vulnerability. This is a really hard thing. It sounds, even the word itself is hard to say, for me at least. So I can imagine even doing it. But vulnerability is a big thing. It's not small. Don't think it's small. It's really huge. If you've had people hurt you in the past, it's not going to be easy for you to open up. If you had things happen to you, it's not going to be as easy for you to open up. But, you have to let the past go sometimes. Well, actually, all the time. You have to let it go and allow the future to work better for you. The present, the future to work better for you. Opening up to people, to trying different things, whether that is. You just have to open up. You just have to, you could still be protective of yourself and be vulnerable at the same time. You can do that. You can do both at the same time. So, but it's not easy. I can't just stay here and tell you, oh yeah, it's easy to be vulnerable. No, you allowing other people to see the most sensitive part about yourself. You're like putting your heart into people's hand. You're letting people know your thoughts. So that is not easy, because sometimes you don't even know what these people are gonna do to it or do with it. So it's not easy at all, but it's a good thing to do for yourself. It's self-care. So let's move on to the fourth one. My fourth self-care tip is reflecting on what holds you back. Take some time and reflect on what holds you back. Reflect on what's holding you back from accepting love or receiving love, however you want to put it. Take some time to understand what it is that's holding you back. And practice. You could use journaling to practice. Maybe talking to a therapist, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a therapist. You could talk to a very trusted friend. I have been so blessed, you guys, and it took me a while to realize that. I guess forgot to open my eyes to realize how blessed I am. I have so many great friends. A lot of my friends are actually older than me, like my mom's age, and they're like my friends, and I can call them and ask them for tips and advice. And I have my family members. So I am truly a blessed person, a very blessed person, very, very, very blessed person. And they always give me great advice, because sometimes there was a time I wanted to say something really I wanted to send a letter, write a nasty text to somebody, and my aunt read it. She's like, don't do it. This other friend, she read it too. She's like in her 50s. She read it. She's like, don't do it. Don't let people know what you're thinking. The best thing for you to do is move on quietly. That will kill them, because they don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what's on your mind. So I love friends like that, because 29-year-old me didn't know better, because I was just angry. I was just upset. I just wanted to get mad. I just wanted to get back, But then I had my friends who are in their 50s. They know better. And I had my aunt who know better as well, and they were like, don't do it. And I was like, and I'm so glad I listened to them. And I'm the type of person too, if I ask someone for advice, I'm going to listen to. I'm not going to just ask you for advice like that and just to waste your time. It's because I really do want to know, and I really want to make the best decision for myself. But yeah, so say all that to say, speak to someone you trust, not just anybody. If you can't afford a therapist would probably be better, but it's not going to be as intimate as someone you trust. Someone that's your friend that can actually relate to you because they may have been they may have been through the same thing you're going through. So, but keep that in mind. It's just not going to be as intimate as if it was your friend, someone you trust, or your family member. But yeah. So now let's move on to my last one. My last self-care tip is giving yourself grace. Practice giving yourself grace. This one is big. For me, it is really big because I struggle with giving myself grace. I hold myself to a standard that makes absolutely no sense. And I was able to realize that, I think, in 2023. Yeah, 2023, because I did do I had my therapist. I talked to you about some things that I was going through at the time. And I realized I didn't have much grace for myself, even still now. But I still have, the thought, and I still remind myself, like, Sendy, give yourself grace. But I think giving yourself grace is the best thing you could have done, especially if you're at the age where, you're entering your 30s or you're in your 30s. You probably are so hard on yourself. I think I still am hard on myself. I can't lie. I really still am. It's so hard because you had your whole life planned out. You're thinking by 25, I'm going to be done with school. By 30, I'm going to this. I'm going to be married. I'm going to have kids. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. I'm going to have... And you're like in 30s and you're like 30 and you're like moving in with your parents, living with your friends, looking for a new job, pivoting into a new career. It's hard, but it happens all the time. As long as you're pushing forward, that's what I'm learning. As long as you're still pushing forward, it really all don't matter. As long as you're just not like giving up, you're not stopping, you're pushing forward, you're working hard, it doesn't matter. Give yourself grace. Especially, you weren't born with a trust fund. Okay, me and my friend was actually talking about this today. I'm the daughter of a king, the king of the world. Where's my trust fund? My trust fund is in heaven. But I wouldn't mind that, But listen, give yourself grace, please. This is something I'm still learning too, because I still have days where I'm like so hard on myself. I feel really bad. I feel like I don't try enough. But then I'm thinking, I literally come from dirt, like from nothing. My family works very hard. And that's one of the reasons why I'm actually really hard on myself, because my family works so hard, and I would hate to not be as successful as I would like to be. And that, not just family-wise, because success means different things to different people, but to not be able to give myself a great life, because that's why they all worked hard for. And I would want them to see that your hard work was not in vain. So that's one of the reasons why I am really so hard on myself, because my family worked hard, very, very hard, for me to not grab everything that I can. And I'm not being greedy or nothing like that, or anything like that, but it's just I don't want their hard work to go to waste. I come from Haiti. We depended on them when we were in Haiti, and now I come here, I have the opportunity to work and be good and do something good for myself and everybody around me. Why would I not want that? Why would I not push myself? So this is why I was so hard. I used to be so hard on myself, and still am, but I am learning. And every time I'm hard on myself, I pray about it, and I ask God for grace, and I ask God to help me give myself grace, because like I said, I hold myself to a really dumb standard. But yeah, give yourself grace. And I'm learning to do that with myself, because especially some of us that are poor, that didn't come from a family that didn't, your mom wasn't a doctor, your dad wasn't an attorney or a businessman or none of that. Your parent probably worked at McDonald's, at Walmart, regular job where they had to work 2 jobs. Sometimes both parents had to work, so you didn't have a mom staying at home and taking care of your dad, vice versa. They had to work and you had to go to school, so you didn't have it easy. You really had it hard. I had it hard. So give yourself grace. There are people, they had it easier, but you didn't. You starting from scratch, straight up scratch, real scratch. So give yourself grace. Also, if you made these decisions that when you were younger, you didn't know any better, trust me, you didn't. And that's something I'm learning too, because it took me a while to actually learn that, hey, you were just 17, you were just 17, you were 16, you didn't know any better. You were literally a kid. You're not even a legal adult. So give yourself grace. You are not the wrong one in here. It's not you. It's not your fault. Give yourself grace. You are young. You are dumb. Yes, I'm sure you still knew it was wrong, but you still were very young. Okay, so You made some decision when you're 20s. Give yourself grace. All you can do now is take those things, those mistakes you made, learn from them, and apply them to your age too, your 30s now, and live by those examples. Okay, and really, that's the best thing you could do. You know, learning from those mistakes, and now be the best person that you could be. And as always, remember to, I'm a Christian, I'm always gonna praise God, because I don't know who else to bring up. I only know God. So I'm always gonna say, as well, just remember to invite God in, because it's really hard when you're trying to figure out yourself and then you're doing it on your own. You really need God. You really do need the Lord. So give yourself grace. And one thing my therapist told me, because when we were talking about, you know, she was telling me you gotta give yourself grace, because she's the one who really made me understand all that stuff, because I really did not understand what I was doing and everything else. She said to me, if God, who is God, gives you grace, so who are you to deny yourself that? Who are you to hold that against yourself? You know? So, and it really makes sense. It's like, so if God, who is God, like the creator, okay, the Lord, if he gives you grace every day, his grace is new every single day. He gives you grace freely every day. If he's willing to do all that, so who are you, his creation, to be like this to yourself? Okay, so if God can love you, everybody else should be able to love you. And if they can't, or you can't, that's a problem. You're gonna have to take up with God. You really do. But but this was my last one, you guys, and this one is really a big thing, because you could buy yourself all the things in the world, but if you don't have grace for yourself, how can you really care for yourself? You have to take time sometimes, take care of yourself properly. It's breathing in, breathing out, removing yourself from certain situations, giving yourself love, loving yourself, be patient with yourself, give yourself some compassion, give yourself grace, understand that this world is not easy. I'm having a hard time. Honestly, I'm saying all these things, like, I'm not gonna lie to you and act like I'm learning these things still. I mean, I'm only 30 years old. I'm still a baby. I'm not, but you know, I'm still learning these things, and these things are actually hard things, and these things are, but I will say that I am glad I am learning them now, so when I'm in my 40s and my 50s and my 60s, I can see myself living a joyful life, a better life, a peaceful life. I pray that God preserves my days. I pray that I made it to that age. I really do. So I can see that, because I'm doing the work now. I'm learning from my past, even though my 20s kind of haunt me a little bit. But I'm applying these things to my life now, and I am honestly looking forward to seeing who I become, and when I'm like in 20 years, I'm excited for that, and I know with God by my side. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me something in the comments. Let me see. I don't know, leave a comment for me, you know what, leave a peace emoji for me. I guess that's what, but I just want the engagement. Okay, let me tell you, when you leave a comment for me, you liking the post, YouTube pushes me out. It helps me out. I'm just a small town girl trying to make it out there. Please help me. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of me, if you want to see my cooking videos, check out my recipes. I have my recipes I uploaded, but if you want to keep up, check my Instagram. That's where I'm uploading my recipes all the time, so be sure to check it out. And if you like this video, as I said before, give this video a like. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.